Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of January 12th, 2014. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week, right smack dab in the middle of the week, there is a full moon in the sign of Cancer. And this is pretty much going to define the energy of the week. Full moons always indicate a time when the truth comes in its full light, where we finally recognize usually what's been pretty obvious, usually what's been staring us in the face. But this time it just becomes undeniable, and we know that we have to do something, that something has to change. Full moons also represent a time of culmination and a time of fruition. They represent a time of closures and a time when we recognize that what was has run its course and now we're ready to release. In the sign of Cancer does tend to indicate a really highly emotional time when really it is our emotions that guide us to what it is that has served its purpose. But more than that, the emotions guide us to the truth, quote unquote. What I really like about this full moon is that it is speaking very positively with Saturn. And because of this, it does suggest that whatever truth comes forward also brings a lot of stability with it, and that we like the results of seeing what is there. The day after the full moon, so the full moon's on the 15th, the day after, Venus is speaking with Mars in a very passionate interaction. So we can expect desire to be really at a high. And then the day after that, we've got Uranus and Mercury speaking in harmony, which does suggest all those feelings and all those emotions and all those desires that are coming forward in the middle of the week. By the time we get towards the end of the week, we're finding the perfect words to understand them, to share them, to enlighten ourselves, and to enlighten others as well. There is an element of absolute brilliance with all this. And so while sometimes things can sort of stay stuck on the level of emotion, not this time. This time we find this lovely bridge between what we're feeling, which for some of us more than others, but for pretty much most of us is going to be some pretty strong stuff. What we're feeling actually finds a way to be communicated and finds a way to be understood by the intellect, allowing us to bring forward the absolute best and highest of all the events that transpire now. How all this speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week does suggest a time when matters of home are coming to culmination. Now, when I look at the part of the sky this full moon is taking place in, and the fact that very, very near that time, we have Mars, your ruling planet, speaking with Venus. Well, you put these together and it does suggest a time of a lot of awareness of what you really need to feel not only connected passionately, but also to feel connected in a sense of feeling secure with another person. Now, there is going to be a desire this week to set up house and to solidify, if you will, and there is going to be a desire to find someone who can be that rock in your life to provide you with a sense of stability. But that does not mean that you are willing to sacrifice passion and desire and attraction. Things may move very fast this week in one sense. However, it looks like you are connected enough to your instincts to know what it is that you want. And now it's about feeling safe with where you are right now and feeling safe enough to take that chance. I think you are going to find that you really like the sense of self that comes forward, the sense of stability you find within you to actually speak of the things that you desire in love and in just about every area of your life. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week does suggest a time when your mind is especially bright. It is lit up, as a matter of fact. And it looks like you are having some very powerful awarenesses into just what it is that has inspired you to take a lot of actions that maybe you thought were guided by, whether it was just material things or whether you thought you were guided by matters of mind, matters of what is smart. And while there is an element of that, I think you're going to surprise yourself by finding that you actually have been inspired by and guided by a sense that you want to feel an emotional stability, an emotional connection. And a lot of your motivations actually have been coming from a place of emotion. And emotion may have also colored some of your perceptions, colored some of your communications, especially how you perceived some of those communications. In one instance in particular, I do think that some of your own emotional stuff may have led you to interpret a certain interaction one way, but actually the interaction is a lot more positive and a lot more supportive and a lot more uplifting than you originally had thought. Now, some of all of this is going to come to full fruition, to full awareness by the time we get towards the end of the week, but it is in the middle of the week when I think some of the most key interactions are going to happen. And that in turn is going to allow you to first have a certain reaction thinking it's one way, and then very quickly realizing that no, this is actually a really, really positive interaction, a really positive communication, and a really positive turn of events. If there's anything that you've really wanted to say but have not been able to find the words, you will find the perfect words now, and you will find a way to say what you need to help you build a more solid future based on self-respect and based on knowing that you can speak up for yourself. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week does suggest a time when you are particularly mindful of the financial circumstances of your life, not only now, but really have this pulse on the direction in which you're heading, and especially the direction in which your finances are heading, if you like them or not. Where you like them, you are going to find just the perfect chess move, if you will, just the perfect move to stabilize your finances now and into the future and to see a growth take place. However, where you may feel that you could use more stability, where you feel that you could use more clarity, all of that is going to come. You're especially driven and especially passionate at the time of the middle of the week as well. But I think if you can direct that, the more you can direct that towards your finances, the more you're going to find yourself making a lot of progress, and progress that you really like. And in particular, I do think that there's at least one other person whom you can bounce an idea off of, and that in turn is going to spur some creativity and going to spur a very intelligent and strategic move that helps you in the financial sense. And as I said, you are building towards financial stability. So the events that transpire now are not only going to affect your circumstances right now, but will speak to your financial success for a very long time to come. It's as if that missing piece finally becomes clear and you figure out just the perfect move to make to advance your sense of abundance and prosperity. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week, it is a full moon in your sign. Now, when there is a full moon in your sign, oh, you better believe a lot is going to be coming up for you. A lot is going to be coming forward. And it does mark a time of a major shift for you. Now, I would have spoken of this in the monthly video, so I would advise you to watch that again. But really, it is a matter very close to your heart that comes up for your awareness. Now, you add to this the fact that you've got Venus in your opposite sign. So really, you are having to focus a lot on another person these days, on relationships these days. And ultimately, what a full moon is when the sun stands across from the moon. And the moon is in your sign. So the full moon that takes place is where the moon is in the sky, the sun being in the opposite sign. That condition leads to a full moon. And so again, we have this idea, or we have this symbol of you having to look at another person, deal with another person. And Venus speaking with Mars right now in this really intense conversation. Well, you put all this together and it does suggest a time when you are particularly looking at your own reactions and looking at your own expectations, especially where it comes to another person, where they're reasonable, where they're not, and where it is that you need to make some adjustments. But what I really like that's happening for you is that as we get towards the end of the week, this very liberating energy comes in, this energy of clarity that all of us are going to be experiencing, this energy of right conversation at the right time, this energy of recognizing what you need to do because you see the clear dynamic and boom, making a change. And sometimes very quickly, sometimes just knowing what needs to be done and being totally at peace with it and doing it. That's the magic piece. And all of these are coming together for you now this week. Trust your heart. I mean, I'm very big on saying self-trust is everything. If that was ever true for anybody, it is very true for you this week. Trust yourself. Trust your heart, because the truth is there and the truth is going to come forward. And as you recognize that, you are going to make some significant changes that are going to define much of your year ahead personally, in terms of who you are, in terms of your liberation, in terms of you feeling more comfortable with yourself, and also in terms of love and your relationship with other people. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week, there is a very quiet energy taking place, but don't let that fool you. There is a lot going on under the surface. And I would say to you, if there was ever a time to keep a dream journal, this is it for you. I think that a lot of things are going to be coming up to the surface. A lot of dreams, especially a lot's being worked out in the night space. And I do think that some of the ideas, some of the brilliance that comes up for you now actually is going to help you tremendously a month from now, once the moon is full in your sign. And I'll be here to talk about that then. But for now, this is the time to really be allowing whatever ideas are coming forward for you, because it is these very ideas that will allow you to see where you are much more clearly and allow you to release anything that's getting in the way of you really moving into a more empowered future. And additionally, are going to allow you to feel a sense of clarity, not just on a level of mind, but I'm looking at clarity on a level of spirit, on a level of heart, on a level of seeing what has been and the wisdom of what's been, and a level of seeing what you really believe. And that empowers you tremendously. And don't discount that fact of empowerment. In fact, I don't think you're going to have to wait a whole month before you sense that empowerment. I think that by the time we get you to the end of the week, already you are feeling lighter, you are feeling freer, some amazing ideas are coming forward. And I'm seeing also some really amazing conversations happening. Now, the celestial conversation that's taking place in the sky this week between Mercury and Uranus, one way to understand it is right place at the right time, right conversation at the right time. And this is true for all of us, but this is especially true for you. You certainly are one of the more blessed people where it comes to having that right conversation at the right time and the right insight at the right time as well. And so do embrace that possibility, because it is that very opportunity that's there for you that's going to allow you to make sense of a lot of stuff that's stirring just beneath the surface. A lot of stuff that's happening on the level of spirit really wants to break through right now. And that in turn can allow itself to some tremendous manifestations as well. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, not just the dreams in the dreamscape, but also the dreams that you have for your life. Because I do think a plan towards them can, in some cases, very miraculously appear before you before the week is done. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week has a very strong emphasis on friendship. Okay, so there's that one element to this. And then at the same time, I'm seeing this emphasis on really looking at where it is that friendships need to change. And it looks like you are set to have at least one very defining conversation with another person where you are looking at not only yourself and not only the dynamic, but you're looking at many elements of your life and really digging for some truth. And that's really the key here. When I get an image in my mind, when I look at the sky for you, I literally see you digging for gold, although it may not be obvious to you that that's what you're doing. Just that you're trying to get to some core. You're trying to get to some truth of what's really going on, especially in terms of your dynamics with friendships and with your friends. This in turn is going to allow you to see things that maybe are not as clear to a lot of people as they are to you at this time. It's as if all of a sudden you get that perception where you see the dynamic of what's really going on. You see who's really on your side and maybe who is not so much. Maybe someone who is guided by some other energy at this point, whether it's their own insecurity or whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to, or you can give yourself permission not to absolutely love them. Of course, you can love the people around you, and at the same time, you can recognize when some of the interactions you're having with them have to do with you and when they don't. And the thing that's really amazing when you're on a spiritual path, the thing that comes up again and again that a lot of people recognize in themselves is that when you're on the spiritual path, so much of what other people do has nothing to do with you. While you are responsible for your experience in your life, at the end of the day, you decide what things are going to mean for you. And people, the way that they respond, the way that they react, especially if you're coming from a place of truth, is really not about you. It's more about them. And there's another layer to this as well, in that how are you going to respond to a response? And also in that, what is it that any responses outside of you are meant to show you about yourself? So you see how everything that happens can lend itself to more and more learning on your part. But learning aside, what I do think is the most important thing, if you have to take a takeaway now, on a literal level, the most important thing for you to remember this week is that you can expect some really interesting developments to take place in your friendships. Some of them are absolutely going to delight you. I do think at least one person is going to come forward that really ends up being a rock for you now in the middle of the week and going ahead. And one person who's very friendly to you is very likely to present you with some kind of opportunity, or at the very least allow you to make an introduction that brings greater stability into your life, whether that stability is financial or otherwise. And yet there's also the possibility that at least one friendship is going to lead you to look at what the dynamics really are, and to acknowledge what those dynamics really are and how you feel about that. And that actually is going to empower you tremendously, because it allows you detachment where you need it, but it's also going to allow you a greater sense of trust, of faith, and of gratitude where you need it as well. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week does suggest a time when there is a very strong emphasis on your career and on your work. And it does look like at least one matter of career is going to come to culmination. Now, the area of the sky that has to do with career really is what we call the zenith of the sky, right? It's the 10th house. And I know I'm getting a little technical here, so my apologies to those of you who are not students of astrology. But really, the midheaven is the beginning of the 10th house, and it is the highest point in the sky. It's the zenith of the sky. And it speaks to our ultimate goals, the legacy we hope to leave, how high we hope to go. And so one of the most immediate understandings of this is career achievement, career accomplishment. And it does look like for you, there is some sort of an advancement on a level of career that also brings with it a sense of financial progress as well, a sense of financial stability as well. So I really think you're going to like developments on that front. But for those of you who maybe aren't thinking so much about what you're doing on a level that you understand it of career, then we can say that this is about goals. We can say that this is about your sense of achievement and how that in turn is going to translate to a sense of financial security, a sense of understanding what really matters, what your values are, and what it is that you're going to invest, whether it's your time or your resources in. And to me, when I look at this vibration, it does suggest a time when you are just getting more comfortable with where you are in your life, with what you have already achieved, while recognizing that some of your best efforts have led to some amazing results. And now you're ready to feel a sense of stability. And now you're ready to feel a sense of just being comfortable. And this doesn't mean that you have to lose your ambition. It doesn't mean that you have to give up anything at all. It just means that you get a moment to experience some very heartfelt gratitude for how much you've already accomplished in your life and how far you've come and what that's added to your life directly and indirectly. Because ultimately the successes are not about what you achieve, but it's about who you become in the process. And it's about the self-respect that comes from having a goal and seeing it through. And I think that the one word that defines this week for you would be self-respect. And there's a lot of that on offer for you now. And I think that by the time you get to the end of the week, after the events that transpire that allow you to see just how much you've already done, are going to lead you to think in a way that is truly liberating and especially kind towards yourself, and a way that you are very much ready for. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week suggests a time when you are thinking vision on the one hand, but also what I find really interesting this week is, as I said in the introduction, there is a full moon that's taking place in the sky. And for you, it has to do with the part of the sky that has to do with vision. It has to do with meeting the world. It has to do with stepping onto a bigger stage. And it has to do with thinking about what's really important, what you're going to work towards, what you are going to earn in your life. And also, ultimately, what is going to bring a sense of adventure and a sense of joy to your life. But what I find really interesting about this full moon is that it is speaking kindly, very kindly, with Saturn in your sign. And this suggests that the changes, the visions, the adventures that call you now, whether they're trips abroad, whether they're new ways of looking at the world, new ways of understanding the world around you, new ideas, new languages even, all of these will grant you experiences that in some way do bring a sense of self-confidence in one sense. But when I say confidence, what I mean is a sense of self-direction, a sense of security, a sense of stability into your life. And so it isn't just that you're having this sort of amazing idea or you're having this clear understanding, but rather what understandings you are having are bringing a sense of stability and a sense of structure to your life now. And this structure in turn can have an all-encompassing benefit. And that's what makes this week very important for you. Because of these realizations, while they may sound very lofty on the surface, there is an element of you that is becoming more comfortable within yourself, within your own skin, that is taking ownership for your happiness, and also that is deciding on your direction now and your direction for the future. You're interested in the real thing now more than anything. This week brings you so much closer to it, and you can see your way to it. And when I say the real thing, I mean in every area of your life, whether it's love or whether it's work or otherwise, even in terms of your health. You can notice some very positive developments all around once you understand what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, the established way, is the way that's going to end up being the most successful for you now. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week does bring a time when you are looking at matters of finances, but in particular, the type of finances that you're looking at this week have to do with whether it's you want to understand it as finances that are shared, whether you want to understand it as finances that have to do with your dealings with financial institutions as well. But what I really like about this week is that it does look like some financial stability comes in. There is some opportunity that finds you now that not only brings with it a sense of flow, an influx of cash or an influx of resources, if you will, but also these are resources towards a specific end, an end that's going to allow you to create greater stability in your life in the bigger picture. And so those of you, for example, one very clear example of this, depending on your circumstance, is having a grant in terms of education, getting an education grant of some kind or scholarship of some kind, because that in turn is going to allow you to work on building something that actually will contribute to your long-term success, allow you to build something, work towards a credential of sorts that's going to help you in terms of your long-term success. But it doesn't just have to be an educational matter. This could also be a matter of a settlement. This could also be a matter of business as well. Wherever it is that you feel that some resources could help you work towards a more solid future, you will find that some of those resources do appear for you now, but it's not going to be based on anything you're doing now. It's going to be based on what you have already done. And so this is a week mainly to work on your faith. the faith that you've put a lot of things into place already, that your best efforts are going to count for something, are going to mean something, and now you can turn it over. That's where your work is going to be, to turn it over. I do think some very good news is going to find you by the time we get you to the end of the week. In fact, I do see you having a moment at the end of the week where you are elated and jumping up and down and just very, very happy for the developments that have transpired, and especially happy for some communication that finds you. Have the expectation that the communication that finds you is going to be a good one, and I trust you. I ask you to trust that it will be, and I trust you that you will recognize it when it comes as well. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week, there are, of course, developments where it comes to love. When you have a full moon in your opposite sign, it undoubtedly speaks to love, developments in love. And I would suggest to you that you watch the monthly horoscope for your sign for this month, for the month of January, because I would have talked extensively about it in the love-focused horoscope. But this week, I do want to say that for the week, with such a strong sort of love energy in the air, partnership energy in the air, while there is a part of you that remains connected to what it is that you want to do, I do think that it really is going to be matters of the heart that take center stage, and they need to, as part of you balancing and having balance and experiencing balance in your life. Mainly what I am seeing for you is just you being really honest with yourself about where you are in terms of relationships, whether you have one or not, whether you're in one or not, and if you like it or if you don't. But more than anything, it looks like you are ready to create or to experience a change. And this is a change that brings with it a greater sense of stability and a greater understanding of the future in which you are headed, where it comes to love. And I do think that the decisions you make this week are going to allow you to experience love that is more mature and more stable well into the future. This is an important time for you where it comes to making a decision, and it's grounded. And that's what I really like about it. You're seeing many sides of the issue. You're seeing why you've wanted what you've wanted and where it's worked for you and where it doesn't. But you're also seeing what you need to actually have something that's going to matter to you in the bigger picture. Something light and frivolous is not really going to satisfy you now. It's going to be much more about what you really need on a more essential level, on a level of practicality, and what makes sense for the future in which you are moving towards. And a lot of you are going to experience this in love. Some of you are also going to experience this in terms of partnerships and a wider understanding of them, whether it's business or otherwise. And so if you are one of those Capricorns who experiences this on a level of business, it does look like you and somebody else are really ironing out some details as to what this is going to be and how you two are going to help each other to achieve a common goal, a common business-oriented goal, and especially financial goals as well. All of these areas are very blessed. I don't want to make it sound like it's all serious. Yes, there's an element of seriousness, but that's actually an element of maturity is a better way to understand it. More than anything, I'm seeing that you feel stronger by the time we get you to the end of the week. You feel that you are headed in a direction that you like, a direction that allows you to feel a greater sense of yourself, of self-respect, and of self-empowerment as well. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week suggests a time when you're particularly busy in terms of your workload, and you have to place a priority on work. What I really like about this week for you is that there is this, at the same time, there is this element there of you wanting to have fun, of you wanting to have some passionate moments and wanting to be a little bit rebellious so that you can have those moments. And yet, at the same time, you can see very clearly how much self-respect and how much stability and how much sense of self is going to come if you allow yourself to do the work that is in front of you and if you find a way to focus. This week, I think, actually is going to be really important for you because what this week promises is a sense of awareness that what you put your attention to grows, and really a development of the skill of focus. Now, one of your assets can be, at times, an understanding that when you are open to different ideas, that's when inspiration can find you, and allowing that inspiration to come forward. But I do think that there is an element now where, while inspiration is great, you can find ways to focus on a thing singularly while still being open. But there is something to be said for focus. And the time to focus is going to be in the middle of the week, when a lot of emotions are coming up, a lot of really looking at your work and how it makes you feel. All of these issues are coming to the surface. The possibility of greater responsibility is also there, very strongly, in fact. And that possibility is very likely, and looking at if that's going to work for you in the bigger term of your life. But it does look like at least one authority figure really likes the work that you've been doing. At least one chance to really advance yourself on a level of career comes forward. But you can also see that it's going to require you to be a lot more focused when it comes to your work, and it's going to require you to take on a greater workload. And you're looking at all of this in a balanced way and deciding if it's going to work for you or if it isn't. Now, whether or not it is going to work for you, I think that a conversation right at the end of the week is going to make that very clear. So I would encourage you, yes, trust yourself, trust your instincts. If it feels right to make a choice as soon as the opportunity comes up, that's great. But more than anything, I would say to you, if you can, try and wait until we get you to the end of the week, because at the end of the week, that's when it looks like you're really comfortable with whatever choice you're making. You're really comfortable with the decisions that are coming forward for you at that time. And you're really settling into a sense of really having seen a thing very clearly, having seen the direction in which the work wants to go, and how this is going to make changes to your life and your lifestyle. And you're seeing it from many, many different perspectives. And where it works for you and all the different things that matter to you, then you are going to like developments very much. And where maybe it doesn't so much, you are going to find a way to ask for what you need. And that's when you really start to empower yourself. When you speak up, when you share, and you negotiate towards a deal that you really like. And these deals can be made in just about every area of life, but particularly in the space of work and in career. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week brings with it a promise of greater joy, greater creativity, greater fun, and really just this element of kid energy. And what I mean by that is, if you are one of those people who wants to have a child, or has a child even, but let's start with, if you want to have a child, you will get the right advice to make that happen, and could find yourself actually very happily pregnant. If you have children, you're going to get the right answers so that you can feel really good about the future that you're creating for your child, and feel like you're adding an element of stability. If there have been any issues where you feel like you haven't been spending enough time, or even custody issues, you can expect resolutions now that really make you feel very strong and make you feel very solid. And those of you who are not looking at kids at all, what you are going to find is just your creativity is really sparked, and the chance of you actually having an idea where you can take your creativity and build a really solid, amazing future for yourself as a result is especially strong now. So you really want to be paying attention to the inspirations that come forward. This is a very strong week of instincts as well. And while I don't think that just buying a frivolous lottery ticket is necessarily going to do it, any type of, and I'm going to be honest with you, any type of bet that you make that requires a level of knowledge, that requires you actually demonstrating whether it's skill, whether it's knowledge, whether it's know-how, even if it's a sense of trivia, if you will, if you can in some way incorporate that into a bet that you make, I think that you could end up being very successful and find yourself having a windfall of sorts. And so I would suggest that you be open to that, even if it's just a very casual bet. There is an element of quickness to this. There is an element of fun to this as well. And so make sure that whatever it is, it should feel really fun. It should feel really light, and you being in the moment, and it just sort of comes up for you. That is when the chance for prosperity is especially high for you. What I also think is likely this week is a sense of, as I said, windfall. And this could be on a level of just your personal fulfillment. This could be on a level of actually experiencing a windfall. But this energy of rags to riches that really helps you bring stability can be experienced on a very, very small scale, to be honest. And a lot of you are going to experience this on a smaller scale. And it can also be experienced on a level of emotion as well, where just all of a sudden you feel like you've gone from feeling a little destitute or feeling like there's a lack of opportunity to all of a sudden feeling like there's an abundance of love. There's an abundance of opportunities. And it looks like there's also a very flirty vibe right now as well. And this is all part of this energy of just quick turnarounds and abundant energy that's coming in just about every area of your life. And so be open to that. See where life wants to take you, because if there's anyone who can experience a dramatic turnaround in just about any area of your life, getting a piece of information that just changes everything, getting an opportunity that puts you on an entirely different path, it's you this week. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. And once again, thank you so much to everybody out there for watching for another week. I hope you enjoyed my little Mayan-inspired outfit. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.